And the cluster is coordinated by Water Europe, the European Water Technology Platform, with the support of the European Commission and the GLTD and the Executive Agency for Research and Innovation. We organized this ZeroPollution4Water Cluster event today in occasion of the World Water Day. It was on Sunday, and it's dedicated to water resilience and gender. That you can see the title, From Policy to Practice. Why it matters, why it is important. I think that there is little to say on the matter that water is really the strategic systems and resource for our societies, because it is really at the core of the resilience of our societies. It is at the core of the competitiveness of the European systems, and of course it is also at the core of the security of our societies. As we all know, water is under an increasing pressure from several points, several angles. I mean, on the one hand, I mean the climate change, the pollution, and the increasing demand, not supported by an adaptive and up to the point capacity of managing water in an efficient way, really requires today that we have a paradigmatic shift towards more systemic and integrated approaches to water management, which is, as summarized in the Water Resilience Strategy of the European Union, putting the first principle as water efficiency first. But at the same time, resilience is not a matter of technologies, it's not a matter of infrastructure, it's not a matter of simple management, but it's also, and maybe most of it, is about governance, participation, and inclusiveness. I mean, this is, let's say, along with technology, along with having resilient infrastructures, it is the set of issues that we should really take into account. And at the same time, when it goes to participation, governance, inclusiveness, the focus on gender equity reminds us that a real resilient water system must be also equitable and inclusive. I mean, these two words are the two magic words that should be at the basis of our talks, towards what we say, what a smart society and economy. So at the same time, why we are here as a ZeroPollution4Water Cluster? Because the ZeroPollution4Water Cluster is a bright example of an integrated approach, in which we bring together projects which are of course about research, innovation, technology, but also combine this project combined also their actions on technology also with the societal and governance dimensions. So the discussion of today, I hope that will help in bridging policy and practice, and to support a better understanding on how these principles can be turned, that we can a real impact on the ground concerning water management and our water smart society. So then in the end, what I can say is that if we really want to accelerate the transition towards this water smart society and economy, where resilience, sustainability, and inclusion go hand in hand, we can't never not include in this, the capacity of projects working on governance, participation, and inclusiveness. So I start thanking all the speakers and of course the audience and my colleagues over the Europe for having been able to prepare this webinar also in a short time. And well, I wish you a very inspiring session, and I pass the floor to the first speaker of the webinar, which is Evdokia Bayrampa from Water Sense and Run for Runoff projects. Thank you so much, Evdokia. The floor is yours.
Hello, good morning. Thank you, Andrea, for the welcoming words. First of all, before we start, happy World Water Day. This is the reason why we are here. And my name is Evdokia Bayraba. I'm Dissemination Communication Officer of different EU-funded projects, including D4Runoff and Water Sense. The title of my presentation is Rethinking Water Resilience in a Changing Climate. So let's start. doesn't want? The words. Okay, excellent. So let's start with some simple, I'm gonna put this down. Hide it. Sorry. What they do? I will start sharing again. Sorry. Want to share. What happened?
We can still see your screen in full.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes,
it's all fine.
Now you see everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Presentation mode. No worries.
So perfect. I'm gonna start my presentation with some simple definition. What is water? I think we all know what is water, and all these are definitions that I found online, and all of you can find. For instance, water is at the core of sustainable development, is critical for socioeconomic development, energy and food production, health ecosystems, and for human survival itself. Water is essential for life. Water is an essential enabler of adaptation and resilience, and quite many other sophisticated definitions of water. But how water is linked with the changing world we are going through by the moment, and we are all feeling that the world is changing. We are now in the phase of climate crisis. Before we were in climate change, but now we're in climate crisis. We are all experiencing, especially in Europe, heat waves and floods, and in Southern Europe, droughts. And I have found a very interesting title on Economist, which said that children born today are likely to face 7 times more extreme weather events than their grandparents. This article has been published 3 years ago, so it is still up to date. So it is a kind of a scary title, and in order to see also to justify this title, I have found online this carbon brief, let's say, organization or platform which updates in a regular basis the extreme events that happening around the world. So you see here these red bubbles. And what is happening in Europe is the following. Heat waves is the first extreme event that is happening in our continent, with flooding comes second. But in many other areas in the world, like Asia, Oceania, and North America, flooding is the first extreme event that has been identified, meaning that this is the climate crisis is here. So the European Commission has taken action, has addressed the issue, and has they have encouraged EU-funded projects to come and examine what is happening. Are our water infrastructures systems resilient, ready, sustainable to handle all this crisis happening? I'm coming from D4N and Water Sense, and we are here to respond different questions. Are our systems resilient? Are water governance resilient? Are we ready to respond to all these challenges? And because we are talking about flooding and all these extreme rain events that are coming with pollution, are out there new pollutants, new contaminants that we need to be prepared and prepare our healthcare also systems? All these questions to be answered. We mentioned the word, the sentence, word resilience. I have found a definition on the American Environmental Protection Agency, saying that water resilience refers to the ability of water and wastewater utilities to withstand and quickly recover from natural and human-made disasters. Increasing resilience at your utility will help safeguard access to safe water, drinking water, and properly treated wastewater. The European definition for water resilience is very, very similar as well. And we have out the new European Water Resilience Strategy that was published in December 2025, calling countries and projects to modernize their water infrastructure, digitalizing them, and using AI. Also thinking for private and public funding in order to achieve these goals. As I mentioned, I'm coming from two projects, D4NOF and WaterSense. There we used, we tested different solutions, or we will test different solutions. For instance, in D4NOF, we developed this AI-assisted platform that you can find on our website, where you could select the best nature-based solutions for your water system. You can be an officer in a municipality, you can be an urban planner, you can be even a citizen, and you have this tool in order to find the best solution for your environment. Also, the WaterSense is a new project that just started and is aiming to develop sustainable decentralized water systems and also decision support systems. So all these solutions are proposed by at least two projects I'm engaged, but I'm sure there are more projects out there. The goal is what also Andrea mentioned, the water resilience. It is technical, but not only technical. It's also integrations, collaboration, is alignment with policy, and also different contexts altogether. So many aspects to take into consideration. But do we have time, thinking that all this climate crisis is happening right now? But also, it's important to have an inclusive water system that includes women. Here I have the quote of Alvaro Lario, President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development and Chair of United Nations of Water. He said in his speech that it's time for fully recognize the central role of women and girls in water solutions as users, leaders, and professionals. We need women and men to manage water side by side as a common good that benefits the whole of society. So resilient, but also inclusive. With this, I'm going to thank you for inviting me in this presentation. I'm going to pass the floor to Louise Prista and to all the other wonderful women who are here to address this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edva.
Thanks a lot, Evdokia. Louisa, I will start sharing your presentation.
Okay, please put the title. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evdokia, and also Andrea, because you already made my points. I just want to go a little beyond this. My presentation is about gender equality and inclusion in water systems, and I would like to explain why does it matter, but why does it matter not just for science, research, and innovation, but also why gender equality is also so important in coping the water global challenge that we are facing now. Of course, we have policies as well, and they have to be integrated. But in 10 minutes is difficult. I'll try to make just some points. So the next slide, please. I would like to start by an example. This is like a story. Last year, we just met here the same day, or almost it was to celebrate also the Water Day. And we did a seminar, online seminar about water and nature-based solution and the benefits of integrating water in designing water systems in cities, the benefits of gender considerations. This was 1 year ago. And as Evdokia said, the time is really very important. And we are just 1 year afterwards. So the findings that we had from last year were very important. They were that gender equality, diversity, and inclusion create economic value. For that moment, economic value was not assessed. It was recognized, but it was underestimated and not measured. We had also a conclusion that gender equality in water generates social value, and this means creating jobs, engaging the civil society, supporting healthier and more livable environment, and they were contributing also to sustainability and to sustainable, more resilient cities. So we are very happy with these conclusions, although we could not measure them. And we made some commitments, and the commitments were to engage women across the entire water cycle, in particular through living labs, to promote gender inclusive research, to support women's leadership in science, innovation, and business, and also to make women's participation and empowerment a priority. So next slide, please. So after all this, 1 year, did anything really change? I would have to say yes, but we had some progress, and we had some progress in particular in the awareness of the gender equality that now is really a part of the conversation. No one puts this in question. We recognized all the benefits. Very important, we consider now this is not a women's issue. It's no longer just a matter of women. It concerns us all because it's a societal issue. And it's linked also to have more sustainable results that are valid also in the water sector. But and this is a very important but, and that Vokia just mentioned, the world is changing and changing very quickly, and we have new challenge, I would say even threats, because we have climate changes, and the climate change that Vokia just explained about heat waves, floods, storms, and so on. But we have a very important aspect, conflicts and geopolitical tensions like the wars that we are facing. Apart from this, we have now new AI-related risks. We have gender-based violence, gender narratives, and so on. And the bad news is that those challenges are not gender neutral. This means, next slide, please. It means that women are often the most affected ones, if they are not always. So women are not having access to water. They don't have access to safe water. There is a big impact in their health, in their families, in the flood systems. There is an increased vulnerability that is creating displacements, migrations, and poverty, of course. But women are also solution providers. And this is very important. And I like very much the quote of Álvaro Lário that it was presented before, because women really have a different role. They are driving the climate action, they are innovating locally, and they are shaping really novel solutions. Here I put in red and blue different aspects. The blue are the advancements that we did at the level of Europe. Mainly they are policies and mechanisms, funding mechanisms, support measures, but we made very big advancements in gender in science, women leadership, pay gap, and so on. This is all about legislation. In terms of the big threats, absolutely no. And this is all new. And what we can say is that gender equality priority shift, and is shifting from participation to power. And I would say this because unfortunately women are still absent from where the key decisions are made. We know, and this by research, that when women are involved in peace process, and this is peace tables, as we say also, there is 35% higher chance of avoiding conflicts. And this is really a figure that we should keep this in our mind. And of course, all these red aspects represent also the impact, the negative impact on women and water. So the next slide. Based on this, I would like to show you a quote or a slide that was a poster that was being circulated during the Women's Day, 8th of March. And it says that women and girls have never been closer to equality. And this, I showed you the progress made by Europe, but never close to losing it. So this explains our alerts. This explains our vulnerability. And we have to consider that progress on gender equality cannot be taken for granted. So it has to keep in our mind. Based on United Nations, because this is a poster of United Nations, I would like also to show you a quote from the next slide, from Antonio Guterres. Antonio Guterres is the Secretary General of United Nations, and really he explained, this is on the 8th of March as well, that during his mandate he recognized and he was acknowledged climate shocks, deepening poverty, violent conflicts, shrinking civic space, but he also watched, and this is what we have also to keep in our mind, that many solutions are taking root, and the common denominator was women. So again, I consider this a very powerful statement, because this gives a new identity to the role of women and visibility. And again, is not just on participation. We have to go forward, and it's about power to change and finding solutions. Next one. So now I'm not talking just about UN, but about Europe. And Europe and the European Commission just adopt a gender equality strategy from 26 to 30. And why? Because it shows a political commitment to adapt to new threats and to continue advance in gender equality. This is new. This was really because it's pressing, the challenge are pressing, and they are a little different. And for the first time, if you read this gender equality, boys are covered as well, which is because it reflects the present situation. Next one. The next slide is about research and innovation in science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. This is about data. Of course, the European Commission and Eurostat, they collect data of the situation of women in STEM and all the disciplines, women and men, and we make progress about the careers. The graph that you see here it's called the scissors graph. Scissors because normally it should cross, but this time you see that it's not crossing. Because there is a gap. Men are the blue ones, women are the green ones, and you see the progression in career of men and women, and you see also the big resource gaps that exists in women in STEM. So women are just 32% of the graduates, but in leading positions 20, in ICT very low percentage. And what I would like also to remind you is that only 2% of the European projects, this is project from Horizon mainly, integrate gender dimension. Gender dimension is very important because Edvokia also mentioned this, that it's important to consider pollutants, contaminants, and so on. And we have to study the different impact in women and men, because there are specificities. There are all specificities on digitalization. There are all specificities on tools. So this is the condition to have good results in research. If not, we are misleading and also creating wrong markets. Another important aspect is that women are just 30% of the authors of the scientific publications. And if you think about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence that is based on statistics and algorithms, of course, they can be biased and not reliable. Next slide, please. The workforce, we talked about women in careers and academic careers. Now the workforce, of course, is a water system, as Andrea mentioned, and there is a gender gap and lack of resources. Water is moving forward, is no longer based just on infrastructures and civil engineers. Is a system that is digital, is data-driven, is interdisciplinary. It's about advanced new technologies, about green tech, digital twinning, remote sensing, space and robotics and macrobiology, and sociology, and new skills like working in teams. So we really have a lot of opportunities for women. And now the situation is really very bad, and this is just women in the workforce. If you see in AI and machine learning, for instance, is 6%, so this is not acceptable. In the water sector is 23% of the engineers and managers. If we look at utilities, this I'm talking about Europe, in leadership positions, women do not arrive to 8%. And in terms of investments, patents, and so on, also very low. And we have absolutely to encourage women to participate, to be part of the new water system and water professions, even because we lack resources. Next slide. Next slide is about the conclusions. And the conclusions, of course, is if we want a livable, and I would join, a peaceful planet, we have absolutely to have gender responsive water policies. And we have to encourage the full participation of women in water cycle, in decision making, in peace progress, so in diplomacy. And we have also to give equal access to new jobs and better protection in emergencies. Concerning research, of course, we need more resources. We talk about this and different new competences, and they are really different. Concerning gender dimension in research projects, absolutely important to include the gender dimensions if we want to improve the quality and accuracy of the results. And then the last conclusion is that gender equality is about economy, about society, and is key to shape a better and resilient future. So it's not just about women, it's not just about fairness. And that's why it concerns us all, men, women, all the society. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope that you keep, after this, you have a different impression about the gender dimension in water and why does it matter now. Thank you.
Many thanks, Luisa. Thank you very much for having made the point on what has been done and still all the progress that we need to achieve. I am now pleased to give the floor to Sara Garcia Arguelles, that will she will provide us a presentation over the link between careers, pathways, and water resilience from different perspectives. Sara,
Okay.
when you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with all of you. I know one, and I am surrounded by impressive people of the water sector. So, okay, one moment, please. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, I am Sara Garcia. I'm an environmental scientist with a PhD in biomaterial synthesis. I'm working at the Civil School at the University of Cantabria in the HITECO group, and we are part of the Zero Pollution Cluster through the runoff and water sense project. Here you can see, for example, our permeable parking that is a case study in the runoff. Okay, I am not an expert of gender issues, neither an authority in the water sector, but I'll simply share with you my perspective drawn for my career. I'm an environmental scientist working in the water sector. I'm in my 40s, so it's the vision of a professional woman in the middle of my career. So when I was thinking about the link between women, water, and resilience, I remember my grandma histories because I was born in a small town in the north of Spain at the seashore of the Cantabrian Sea. We have also a river crossing the town, and men was sailors, but women are always working. They work repairing nets, as you can hear in the photo. But I remember when my grandmother told me about the times when no house has a washing machine, and all the women would get together and go down to the river to to washing the clothes. And this is depending on the time of the year or the degree of if they want it or not. So I remember that in water sense, we have a case study led by the University of Cape Town when they use biofilters, a type of MBS, to clean up a river polluted by an informal settlement because their inhabitants lack a sanitation system. So I remember that in 2025, women have to do the same that my grandmothers in the 50s. So women are resilient by nature, but we had to be supported by gender policies to achieve the equality like men's. So I understand that in the case of the water sector, the resilience in the water, the cleaning of the water to remove these emerging pollutants need to be supported by a scientific and also political support. And we have to, we have to understand the human needs in every specific case. We have to listen women as family representatives because they work outside and outside home. We have to protect our natural water system. And of course, we need supported policies, gender and scientific policies. Well, I'm sorry, I forget to say that I titled this ponency with a very commercial title, Resilient, Multidisciplinarity, Adaptation, Big Water, my friend. And I want to give you some tips about these words. In the case of multidisciplinarity, I study environmental science, that is a very multidisciplinary baccalaureate degree. And I think the water sector needs this multidisciplinarity. We need to gather different disciplines, chemistry, physics, politics, social engagement, and so on, because problem and solutions are not simple. We have to look all these areas and put it together. And in the case of women, I know that we are not in the we are not bosses. Men occupy this responsibility works, but I found in this European project remarkable women working in these different areas. I want to mention, for example, Evie from Theo Clock. She's a social science rock star. Doctora Begoña Espina, a leader of the Water Quality Research Group, she developed a sensor for the real-time determination of microplastic in runoff or wastewater. For example, Ana Rodilleros is the 50% of Calink. She's an expert in politics, especially in water policy. Also, Doctora Maya Lobo, she's from my university, from the University of Cantabria. She's the leader of the group Colingia, and she's a professor and an expert in the wastewater sector. And I want to especially mention Jaun Laura Bonde. She's from Danish water utility. She's in her 20s, and she took the reins of the Deforan project in a very complicated moment. And she brought it to a successful conclusion. I don't know if this is due to the naivety of the young or the courage of a great professional. So I want to emphasize the work of this woman because they are incredible professionals, and they collaborate together to understand problem and to create solution in this European project. So I know they are a very interesting woman to follow their careers. So as I said, to understand and solve water-related issues, it's necessary to bring together different perspectives and collaborate among disciplines and among persons. And the other work of my ponency is about adaptation. Okay, all we have to adapt our work. In my professional career, I have to work in research, but in different areas. For example, I work in toxicology, focusing the determination of pesticides, of the capability of the human body to eliminate these pesticides. Also in analytical chemistry, developing electrodes to measure heavy metals in water for a quick determination. Also, I work synthesis biomaterial using green solvents, avoiding the use of water because we need water for many other things. And then I have to work also in audits, in consultancy with European projects, and also work as an environmental expertise in course. In life, we have to adapt. But the most difficult thing for me, and I think for women, also for some men, but I think women are more involved in that, is the work-life balance. Be a mother of two and develop my professional career is the most important thing and the most important challenge in my professional career. So I have to adapt my life and my expectations because I choose to be a mother and I choose to be a professional. So an example, a scientific example of adaptation in the water sector for me is this picture. This is my partner Itza and I. In the framework of the Forano project, we have to take samples, runoff samples in the inlet and the outlet on nature-based solutions. But we need specific rainfall conditions for the 3 case study at Denmark, Spain, and Italy. But weather don't have a schedule, and we are living in a changing climate scenario. So we have to wait and wait. We have to rewrite protocols. We have to rearrange schedules because we have to adapt. There is no other option. Life and weather is like that. So finally, one cool and damp day, Itza and I can take the runoff sample to send it to our partners from Copenhagen when they analyze more than 100 contaminants of emerging concern. So life is like that. In the water sector, we are in a climate change scenario, but we are also in a changing environment, political, scientific, political, and so on. So adaptation, like in nature, is the only option. So for a professional woman and for the water sector, adaptation is the key, is the only way. And okay, to end this presentation, I'm very proud of this photo because this is the new generation of water warriors. This is a dissemination event on the framework of the Forano project. You can see a board game. It's developed by 3 o'clock by Evie and her partners. And this play is about the emerging pollutants and the floodings, the problems related to the water in an urban environment, and also the nature-based solution to solve that problem. Okay, you can see my boss, Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, and I, but he is with me in this event. We are in my eldest daughter's school, and we are talking about the Forrano project, these problems related to the water, and boys and girls enjoy a lot. They understood everything, they ask a lot, they go deeply into the game. And also, one of the most important things for me, they saw Jorge and I in an equal footing. So yeah, they understand gender is not relevant to do what you want in life. So in the professional sector, you can be a woman or you can be a girl, and you can collaborate together as an equal. For me, this is one of the most thing for dissemination in schools, because men and women, we are in the same planet. We have to understand one each other's, and we are partners. So to show this kind of roles with a woman scientific and a man scientific working together, for me is the best way for girls to understand that they can do whatever they want. So I also there is a plenty of roof for improvement. I know that Luisa's presentation tell this very clear. The water sector and other sector are dominated by men. It's okay. I know it. And there is plenty of room, but men has to be involved in this. I mean, say men are fathers too. They are professional too. So I think this is a common fight for men and for women to get visibility, to help one each other, and to show girls and boys that we are equals and we can do the same in this water sector. So, okay, I'm going to end only to tell you that water takes the shape of its container and always find a way out, because women adapting to reality, and we have the ability to transform it, not just as a necessity, but also as a superpower. So, okay, thank you very much. Be water, my friend.
Many thanks, Sarah. Thank you very much for this presentation. I will now pass the floor to Angela Magno. Angela will share insights from the Boosting experience on how gender mainstreaming can enhance impact in research and innovation. So, Angela, please, the floor is yours.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. It was a very, very interesting presentation before me. So I will try to keep the level, or at least try that at the end also have some kind of interest for you. Well, my name is Angela Magno, as you just mentioned, and I'm from Biosul, and today I'm here as coordinator of the project Boosting. I will share how gender mainstream can enhance impact in research and innovation from a EU project, in this case, in Boosting project. Okay, as Luisa, some of my colleagues has already mentioned, gender equality is not only a social objective, but also is a core priority within European research and innovation policies. It is increasingly recognized as a driver of impact, and when gender perspectives are integrated, we improve the relevance of the solution, we improve their acceptance, and what I think is most important is we improve their effectiveness. So evidence also shows all of us that diverse teams produce better and more innovative outcomes. However, despite this, gender gap still persists. As I think that here you have some data from this gap, because this gap are not only about the representation, they also influence how innovation is designed and implemented. The gender stereotype still affect roles and decision-making processes, and in many cases, solutions are developed without considering the diversity of users. So this leads to gender-blind innovation, which can reduce effectiveness and limit the impact of the innovation. But here is where gender mainstream becomes essential. It means integrate gender across all the stages of the research and the innovation is the more challenging issue and the most important, because this combines two key dimensions: the gender balance in teams and in the participation of the activity, and also the integration of gender into the content of the innovation itself. So it's not only about who participates, it's also how the solutions are designed and for whom. And here what I want to give is the example of Boosting. In our project in Boosting, gender is integrated as a cross-cutting dimension across all the projects. This includes governance mechanisms as a gender analysis plan that was designed at the very beginning of the project, and a dedicated gender committee that monitor the implementation of the plan. Gender is also embedded in project activities, including stakeholder engagement and co-creation processes. And as I mentioned, the most important is monitor the implementation through a realistic gender-sensitive KPI. But to make this approach operational, we need to translate this theoretic framework into practice. How we did this from the beginning? Well, so for example, for the first reporting period of the project, we conducted an internal gender analysis across all partners, all the consortium, and each partner reflected on how gender influence in their work, in their activity, in the deliverables. Idea is include the inclusivity in the design of each task and the participation, the potential bias that maybe can arise, and in the expected impact of each activity. This structure process helped increase awareness across the consortium itself and identify the key challenges, mainly in the participation and engagement of both gender in all of our work. It also provides the basis for design KPIs that are directly linked to the project activities. So gender mainstream requires not only indicators, but also within that a structural reflection from the very beginning of your work and learning and even change whatever is needed during all the project life. So these principles were applied in practice across different types of activities. We promote gender balance in the invitations that we make for the different activities that we develop. We ensure the inclusive co-creation process with participation of both gender, and organize awareness activities that consider gender aspects. It's something, as Sarah mentioned, it's very important that in our awareness activities that are outside the consortium with civil society, these aspects were considered from the beginning and in all the aspects of your activity. So, and at the same time, we also implement visibility actions and monitor outcomes through our KPIs. So gender mainstream, as you can see, it was embedded in the day-to-day implementation of the project. And here we can look at some of kind of results that we can observe in some important patterns. First, in the bigger graphic, you can see that we try to get a balanced invitation in our project activity. It was around 47% of women invited to all, this is a medium in our activity. So this shows that gender considerations are being integrated in the design of our activities. However, when we look at the actual participation, well, as you can see, normally you invite a lot of people, but I have the rule of the 40% is the finally people that was engaged in your activity. But this in the gender aspect is more or less of the same, because finally the participation of women was around 44%. So in some cases, the participation falls below the target that we set at the beginning. So balanced invitations do not always translate into balanced participation. And this makes even more important that you make a strong effort from the beginning and try to increase in the other way, like the positive discrimination, to try to engage higher invitation of women, because unfortunately, women are not usual to participate in water sector events, or was maybe missing in some occasions. So it's very important that we encourage this role. And this suggests that the structural or the contextual barriers still affect to the participation, and we need to better understand the dynamic, how it works to improve it. In addition to participation, visibility also plays a key role. We think that it's very important, the reference. So we try to give reference to the society and to all the stakeholders that was involved or was around our project. So in boosting, we have implemented action to promote women in water innovation. It's the core of our project. And this includes a dedicated webinar on women entrepreneurs World Day in the last 19th of November. And the idea is that we will replicate this year. We also make different or develop different awareness campaigns aligned with key dates in gender and water sector, and the promotion of women innovators from our database of water circular economy solution. Because representation finally is not only numbers, it's also about visibility and role models. Increasing visibility helps foster more inclusive, innovative innovation ecosystem. Just some key takeaways to conclude. First, gender mainstream enhance the impact, is the relevant and can foster the innovation and a balanced innovation. Second, this requires a structure, including governance mechanism and measurable indicator that you can follow up during all your project, all your activity. Third, our experience shows that balanced invitation do not always translate on balanced participation. So we need to continue with the look and search how this dynamic works and how we can increase the number, the participation, the engage. And finally, visibility and role models are essential to foster the inclusion. So the idea is gender mainstream is not an add-on, it's a lever to maximize innovation impact. I think it's something not optional, it's absolutely mandatory in order that all of us, we finally foster a real inclusion in the water sector. Thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Angela. Thanks a lot. I thank you all to all the speakers that were presenting just before. I will now give the floor to Andrea for the conclusion of this webinar.
Many thanks. Thank you all. I mean, thank you, Nice, for passing the floor, and thank you for the speakers for presenting, I mean, different experience from the real life environment. Since, I mean, we still have, I mean, a few minutes left apart from the conclusion. I'd like to ask, I mean, to the speakers, there is, in your opinion, I would like to listen from you, I mean, a power message in few words. Let's start from the last speaker, Angela.
Okay, so as I mentioned at the end, is the gender mainstream is the tool to finally achieve the balance, and they work together, the balance team, improve the innovation, improve the result, improve finally the goal that everyone really wants. It's like a balanced innovation and research society.
Thank you so much. Sarah, what would you send, I mean, as a power message from your side?
Okay, I think the humanity, men and women, have to fight together in the water sector to reach the resilience, but also in life, because we are confronting difficult times and we have to be together for good things. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Luisa.
I think that I would say that in water field, women have been the most affected ones for all the challenge, or water challenge, but they are also changing their role and their visibility, and they have the power to change and find solutions. So let's take this opportunity and support them.
Thank you, Luisa. Evdokia.
I would say that it's nice to check always the gender equality and also the gender inclusion in the water sector, but we should not and never forget we need also some ethnical inclusion. We are all white women, let's say privileged, and our society is way more diverse. So in our let's say inclusion, we should not forget that this parameter is also very important, as these women from different backgrounds face different challenges, and this has to also be taken into consideration in any, let's say, aspect of development of infrastructure or resilience plan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this last message. That was I found interesting. Yesterday evening, by chance, I went through a number of movies, and I remember that was a movie that's called Hidden Figures, which is a story of women in the space agency, American Space Agency, which is every time that I look at that movie every now and again, because it's always a lesson learned. And so I think that's sometimes this kind of movies, this kind of stories, and as the stories that you have been telling today are much more important than just mottos or statements, for which we have the real life experience. Brought to life and to the people. So we are almost consuming the time that's available today for this webinar. So for sure, once again, this is a Zero Pollution for Water Cluster event. So pollution is at the basis of our efforts, but at the same time, we cannot improve water quality just fighting from the technology point of view the pollution, but we need really to be to create the conditions for fair access, safer communities, inclusive, not more, really inclusive water systems, which are the basic requirements for the dignity, for the health, and for the equal opportunities in our society. So at the end of the day, of course, we need also to be careful about pushing and advocating in order that there is a stronger alignment with the policy development, not only Europe, but in Europe and beyond Europe. And from this point of view, I have to say that to some extent, also the water resilience strategy, the European water resilience strategy, can provide some support in terms of setting a clear framework in which we can also see how inclusiveness can be recognized, as water, not only as an approach, but a real resource and a vector for equity. So I would say that wherever water flows, equity, gender equity can grow. And so I would like really to thank you so much for your support, for your engagement, for your efforts, for being as the witness today in this World Water Day. And I thank also the audience, and once again my colleagues over Europe, which supported us in the implementation and organization of this webinar. Once again, many thanks for your effort. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.